All right. Hello, my name is Amy Oland. I am the Assistant Director of Alumni Engagement here at Oakland University. And today I am joined by Phil Collins and Karla from the Oakland University Credit Union. I'm going to introduce them, and then they are going to provide us with some expert knowledge about small businesses. So here we go. Phil started with OUCU and the business services team in 2023. His background includes 14 years of banking experience with a focus in commercial and business lending. Phil oversees the team of commercial and small business lenders and actively engages with the local community to support business owners and entrepreneurs. Phil is currently pursuing an MBA at Oakland University, so he's a soon to be alum as well. Karla has worked at OUCU since 2006 and is dedicated to providing exceptional service with an upbeat attitude to all of our members. Karla has an extensive knowledge in consumer lending and was a part of the business services team for 3 years prior to her relocation to the Traverse City region in 2019 as a branch lead to support in the opening of 2 new branches. Karla rejoined the business services team in 2021 as a commercial lender to assist growing membership in Northern Michigan. Karla takes pride in building strong, long-lasting relationships and is committed to creating a positive depository and lending experience. All right, so I am going to kick it over to Phil and Karla to get us going.
Well, thank you very much, Amy. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time to join today. My name is Karla, and I am with Oakland University Credit Union. And we have alongside with us.
Hello, everyone. I'm Phil Collins. As was mentioned, I'm really grateful to be here today. I'm the Commercial Lending Business Development Manager at the Credit Union, work alongside Karla, working with small business owners and entrepreneurs like yourself. So glad to be here.
All right, wonderful. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop up our screen here and looking forward to going through. If there's any questions, be sure to include those in the Q&A. And Amy will take those questions and then we'll answer them as they come. But looking forward to hopefully answering any questions that you might have. So thank you for joining.
I allowed it. Are you sharing your? It's not letting you share?
Oh, there it goes. Now it popped on. Perfect. Thank you.
Typical Zoom stuff.
All right. Perfect. What we have here is we're going to talk a little bit about businesses for financial success. And can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful. All right. So we are going to talk a little bit today about that. Did I just lose it? I'm sorry.
Nope, we're still there.
Oh, okay. All right. Perfect. It popped off my screen. So I just wanted to make sure. So what we have is different steps for success. Our goal is to make sure that you are successful in every step of the way. And so when we do that, we want to make sure that we can support you. The credit union has a large team that's fully dedicated to commercial that offers not only deposit services, but also lending services. So we're hoping to cover a lot of that and answer any questions that you might have. So as Amy made an amazing introduction about Phil and I, we are excited to help support in the OU community. So what we're hoping to cover today is who is OUCU? We're going to talk about business accounts, but then also all things lending. So to kick it off, we are excited to be a part of Oakland University. We have been collaborating with Oakland University for now over 65 years. And during that time, we have had the opportunity to work with our OU students, our faculty, and also staff. And we're very passionate about giving back to the community. And as an organization, we set aside $10 for every member that is part of that organization, that is part of our community. And by doing that, we're able to give back. And ways that we've given back are through different university programs, scholarships, the Achieve program, but also OUCU Arena. So if you get a chance to stop by and see us there, you'll see us often, as well as Meadowbrook Amphitheater. So we're very proud of our support in the Oakland University community, and you will continue to see us on campus. So be sure to stop by and say hi. And so Phil, if you want to kick off and let everybody know a little bit about who and what is Pillar.
Who and what is Pillar? All right. Well, thank you again for the opportunity to share. So, Pillar is a brand name. Pillar is our new initiative that we're really excited about, powered by MSUFCU, OUCU, a collaborative team, as Karla already mentioned. And what it is a suite of business products and services, specifically, as we say, curated for businesses. The genesis of that is that for many years we've been doing business lending, providing business services. A lot of those products and services have been built upon what we would call a consumer platform. And with that, it's allowed us to provide those, but there's also been some limitations. So over the years, we've gathered feedback. We're very connected with our business members. We've heard from you and others to say, here's some of the features, functionalities that we would like to see in the business banking platform at the credit union. So we've listened to that, which has all led to us coming up with a new platform that we're giving the name Pillar. And it's exciting because we're now going to be able to, again, offer a whole host of benefits and features that we weren't before for business owners. That's the Ignite possibilities. So there's a lot of details we could get in there, but as business owners, you want something that you potentially have multiple entities or people within your organization or business that you may want to have access to the online platform, but you want to limit the access or be able to control that, what they can do, what they can't do. So a lot of permissions, functionality is built into Pillar that's going to allow you to manage your day-to-day business operations much more efficiently. Fraud is always a big topic out there these days. So this is really going to allow us to uh, mitigate any fraud possibilities while giving you more functionality within the banking platform, as well as there's deposit products and services that we didn't have before, different types of savings accounts that have insurance coverage amounts that we didn't have. So that's exciting. All that's built into Pillar. So when you see that, it is us. It's us at the credit union. We're just giving a name to it to help identify business owners with the credit union. Anything you'd add to that, Karla?
Only other thing that I would add is I think always what I love the most is our business members is what helped to create our name, right? So the
Yes.
pillars was because our business members and organizations are pillars in the community and they're vital and important. And so that's how the name Pillar kind of came to develop, is that our business members in our community are those pillars that support us. So
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Karla. And that actually makes me think of being pillars in the community. Oftentimes you hear the word small business owners, and that can mean different things to different people in terms of the size of the business, how many employees, revenues. But what I want you to know is that we work with startups, entrepreneurs. Pillar is built to address our community. So from a very small startup loan for a few $1,000s all the way up to millions, we can help you. So that's exciting as well. That allows us to connect with our community, that there's nothing too small, or generally there's nothing too big that we can't help you out with.
great information. Thank you very much, Phil. That was a great overview.
Yep.
Phil touched on a lot of different benefits or a lot of different of the features, which we'll roll into, but some of the big benefits of making sure, you might say, why do I need a business account? I can just run all this in my personal account, right? Well, you could, but there are a lot of benefits of making sure that you have that. And some of those are, it really helps you to be more prepared for tax preparation. You can separate out some of that income, that expense. You can really make sure that you are making the most efficient bookkeeping possible. Organization is key, and not only as a business owner, I myself am a business owner, but it's so important, right? Like that's the number one is organization and making sure you understand your numbers and your finances. And so if you're commingling your funds, it makes it really challenging. The next step is bookkeeping. So there's a lot of different options. There's options that, I mean, you can use paper and pencil, you can use Excel, but you can also use QuickBooks or other software out there. The great part about Pillar and all of our current accounts is that it fully integrates with QuickBooks. And so it does make your bookkeeping a lot more efficient and effective because it streamlines the process for you. So when you do need to go generate reports like a profit and loss or a balance sheet, those are some of those key words that you're going to hear as we talk about lending needs. It's going to make it a lot more efficient for you in the long term as you're growing your business. Another big reason is it protects your personal assets. There's a lot of different types of business entities that you can create. There's sole proprietors, but also known as DBAs, assumed names. There's LLCs, there's incorporated, there's nonprofits. Those are all types of businesses that we can help support. But the reason why is it's going to help you protect your personal assets. If you divide that, you do also always want to talk to a tax professional or an attorney, but it does help you kind of separate out those personal and those business assets. It also helps to support those legitimate expenses. If you have everything in one main pool, it's hard to identify what is business purpose, what is personal purpose. One of the things that I normally encourage, especially when setting that aside, is if you are starting out, we have really great products such as a small business savings account and a small business checking account that are completely free. So even if you are starting and you don't have a lot of revenue, there are a lot of account options that aren't going to cost you anything. Also, we can start with a small business credit card to separate out personal and business use. So it's something that, as Bill mentioned, if you have a small business, but also you're growing, we can help with any shape, size in any form of business. It's also important, it's a great step because when you are getting ready as in transitioning and maybe you're starting a business or transitioning a business, to start building a relationship. Relationship plays a huge key. We're going to talk a little bit later about some of the key partners that you will develop. And that's going to be very strategic, right? You want to make sure that you have the support system that can help you and help guide you through the process as you are developing, growing, and have different types of needs. And so that's where starting that account relationship or deposit relationship is going to start to establish that. Also, another big thing is you're going to have account statements. So when it does come to tax purpose, the organization, if you need to refer back, you're going to have account statements to reference back to. Typically right now we carry a 3-year history of account statements. So if you needed to go back and like you were like, I know what that transaction was, I can't find it. You can go back and find that info. When it's commingled with your personal, it makes it a little bit more challenging. The other thing is too, it builds your confidence. It gives you a one-stop shop to see how is your business doing, right? You can log in, you can see your business account, and you can see within that account, oh, I got a deposit. It separates things out. It gives you that confidence to know you're one step closer, right? It's a milestone that you can achieve very easily. Starting a business and getting an account started does not have to be time consuming and scary. It's a very easy process. Some of the account features that I do want to highlight that Phil touched on are we really have developed Pillar based upon your feedback from our business members, CPAs, trusted third parties to make sure it is the best possible option for all of our members. And that goes with different deposit accounts. We have accounts that range anywhere for support for small businesses that have no minimum balance, no monthly maintenance fees, all the way up to accounts that are earning high dividends and have minimum balances of $25,000 to $250,000, but they have different rates of return and higher yields. So we do have something for every single shape and size. With that, we do have options like I just mentioned that have our Deposit Plus is our newest account that has that $250,000 minimum balance, but it offers a $15 million NCOA insurance coverage. So for your business as it grows and matures, or even nonprofits, there are a lot of times restrictions on how much of funds can be held. And this is going to give you that protection, but also provides that high yield at a liquid rate of return. So we're really excited about that potential account. We also offer a lot of different treasury services. So we have mobile deposit options. So you can do e-deposit with your mobile device, because we know as business owners, you are extremely busy on the road, traveling. You're working at all times of the day. And so our accounts and also our lending does allow you the ability to apply for loans at all hours of the day. You can do your mobile deposit at 1 o'clock in the morning if you need to. So there's a lot of different features. We also have high speed scanning. So if you have high volume checks and it's not convenient to pop into a branch, we have options for high speed scanning. We have ACH solutions as well. So if you need help with support on your payroll services, if you need merchant processing, you need credit card processing, those are all platforms that we can support and assist with. So once again, it's if you are currently working with someone too, it doesn't hurt to shop around and look at different options. I always encourage our business members that are coming to us and just wanting to have conversations, that are thinking about moving over. Let us take a month, peek at your 2 months of bank statements. Let us see if there's something that we can do to help you. The other thing that's really exciting about Pillar is we have a very robust online banking platform that offers a single sign-on feature. It has a really nice ACH platform. It's going to make it very intuitive for all of our business members to be able to get the maximum benefit. What I think is really beneficial, though, is it's going to allow you as a business owner to have an administrative overview. So you are able to log in and create users that have different functionality. So if you need somebody to log in and create an access for a view-only access, maybe a CPA, if you need somebody to log in to just do reconciliation, you can create those different levels of approvals and authorities. The other piece that's fantastic is that you're going to have corporate credit card functionality within there too. And within that, you'll be able to create different card controls. So you'll be able to designate certain card limits and different controls, all while having that at the touch of your fingertips. So you'll have that full access and control. The other thing that's great is that we are secured and protected by the NCUA. So that is our insurance that protects your funds should something happen in a in a bad situation. We don't ever anticipate that that's going to occur. The credit union's very, very strong. We're nearly $9 billion in assets, but you do always want to make sure that you're considering that protection. So every single business account is covered by a minimum of $250,000 NCUA insurance coverage. And there are a couple different options to increase that as well. Another product that we have, as Phil mentioned, is a fraud preventative service. We have something called Positive Pay. And that's going to be a really big feature because, unfortunately, fraud does continue to be on the rise. And so we have developed this opportunity to integrate within our system that's going to provide you solutions to protect yourself. So there are check platforms and ACH platforms that will allow you to monitor and be able to say, this is a valid transaction or this is a fraudulent transaction, and protect your account. So that way you don't have to go through a very time-consuming process with fraud management or any disputes that you might have to follow. So that's going to help protect you with that. And then finally, our goal with this is that we integrate this with our amazing team, our amazing support and superior service that we like to try to provide. So our online banking portal and our solution with Pillar just aligns with that. Our goal is to make sure that you have the best product and best service possible. Phil, do you have anything to add on that one?
Oh, I think that you did a great job covering it, Karla.
Perfect.
All
right. Thank you.
That sounds good. Okay. So the next slide here, now we'd like to talk about lending. We're calling the pillars of lending. A lot of times, one of the greatest needs that we hear from a small business owner, whether you're in a startup phase or you're trying to grow or just maintain your business, is the challenge is the access to capital or access to money. Sometimes you need to spend money to make money. You need to buy resources, assets, so that you can sell them or provide a service. So we'd like to talk about lending at a fairly high level. Then Karla, on the next slide, will go over more of the actions you can take to help you be prepared and ready to apply for a loan. So we will cover that. But just in general, we want to be very accessible and be a credit union where you can come to request the cash you need to get your business started. When you do that, there's typically going to be two types of loans that at least we're thinking of when we evaluate your request. We're going to look at it if it's going to be a secured loan or unsecured. Excuse me. If we were in person right now, I could probably ask for a hand and say what is secured or unsecured, but what we're talking about is collateral. Anytime that you can have some form of collateral to secure a loan with, it's going to make it more secure, less risk for the lender, and our opportunities to lend to you are going to be greater. So some examples of a secured loan would be real estate. If you're wanting to purchase a building, a warehouse, somewhere to operate your business out of, that actual piece of property can act as collateral to secure your loan. So hopefully you will always be able to repay your loan. But from a lender's perspective, if for some reason you couldn't, we would have access to that piece of collateral to help repay a part of that loan. So that is desirable for us. So commercial real estate would be one example. An auto loan, a very simple example. You may need a vehicle to drive to and from, or let's say you're a landscaping company and you need an F-150 or an F-250 to drive. That loan we make very frequently, and that truck itself would be considered a piece of collateral. So that would be a secured loan, help you getting access to the capital, the best rates, and from that standpoint. Equipment, again, just think of that other than a truck. It could be commercial equipment. It could be a large printer. It could be a piece of machinery that helps you manufacture something. Any type of equipment needs that you could have for your business, we could help you with. And then a line of credit. Think of that as you borrow and repay and borrow and repay, just ongoing expenses you may have as a business. If that can be secured, normally that would be secured by, you may have inventory or you may have accounts receivable where you have offered your product or service on terms. So you may say to your customer, you can pay me back in 30 days. Great. And they say, great, thank you so much. So you go into the bookkeeping that Karla was talking about. You'd enter that in as a receivable that's owed to you, and we can utilize that report to help secure that loan request. And then lastly, SBA loans. You may have heard of SBA loans out there, and those are wonderful options when you may be struggling with collateral. Maybe you have some collateral, but not necessarily enough to fully minimize the risk that we need. So we could utilize a program like SBA where they provide a guarantee behind the scenes to the lender to help us take on loans that we otherwise wouldn't. So that's a very general description of SBA, but no, that's an option for you. And then unsecured. So if you don't have any collateral for a loan request, and a lot of you may not as you're starting up, that's okay. We can still look at unsecured options for you. That's where there's no collateral. And obviously there's a little more risk. So the interest rate and the terms are not going to be quite as attractive, but they're still going to be useful. So a line of credit, like I mentioned, you may need to buy supplies. If you go back to that landscaping conversation, you're buying gasoline and weed whip lines and repairing your mower blades and all these things you may need to be buying. You could utilize a credit card like Karla mentioned. In that situation, you may have employees, you want to have a credit card when they're out in the field doing the work, but you don't want them to have access to the full line amount. So you can manage all of that through the Pillar online platform, and that would be a form of a loan. So a line of credit or credit cards, like I just mentioned, for daily frequent expenses. And then the one that I'm really excited about that I do think is pretty unique that we offer amongst other financial institutions is our startup loan, where we have a program. We have designated $1 million as a credit union. We've set that money aside to say this is only for startup businesses 0 to 2 years old. You can apply for up to a $50,000 loan. We ask that you provide us a business plan. So you're just documenting, okay, what's my business? How am I going to market it? Who am I going to sell my product or service to? what's the revenue that I think I'm going to generate over the next year, 2, 3 years. We look at that business plan and we disapprove that internally without potentially any collateral at all. After talking about collateral, that can be an unsecured loan, may not be all that you need as a business, but it sure can be really helpful and get you going and get you some money that you need for your business. So really excited we can spend more time talking about that as a startup loan. So that's a broad brush of our lending. Again, we can help you if you need a few thousand or up to the millions. Secured, going to be loans that are most desirable from us in the standpoint there's collateral. There's collateral that helps mitigate the risk, but we also can do the unsecured if you don't have collateral. Anything, Karla, back to you that you would add or want to fill in on that conversation?
I think that's a fantastic overview and really goes over just the really high level of the different options that are available. I think that this also outlines how diverse our options can be for our members,
Yeah.
right? And how unique of equipment we can finance, right? There's nothing too unique, right? So
do you have an example of a unique piece of equipment you financed, Karla?
I remember at one point I financed an egg washer.
All right. There
Yes,
you go.
yes. So that's always something to definitely consider. The only other thing that I would probably add to this is very new to us. Speaking of egg washer, is we now also are working through agribusiness. So we have an arm that offers agribusiness. So for those that are in the agriculture field or kind of even hobby farms, we do now offer financing for some of those agriculture ventures. We are a USDA approved lender. We do work with Farmer Mac as well as the FSA agency. So those are different. That's a very new product that we can offer. So that's exciting for us too. All right, going on. So becoming business loan ready. What does that mean? Right? What does it mean to become business loan ready? What are we as lenders really looking for? And I think that's a question that we get often. It doesn't need to be mysterious. It doesn't need to be hidden. But really what we need to know as a lender, and Phil kind of touched on it a little bit. Like if you were to kind of take the exercise of creating a business plan, it's what are you putting in your business plan? It's what exactly is it that you're looking for, right? Be descriptive with it. Make sure that you tell us exactly what it is. If you're looking for a line of credit, tell us why you need a line of credit. Are you looking to use that line of credit for, payroll? Are you using it just to kind of cover invoices? Are you a seasonal business? Those are going to be very helpful and important things for us to be aware of. What I always tell people is it's so important to make sure that us are communicating very well and that we know almost every single detail of your business, because that's how we can become your advocates. So that's really what I would recommend, is think of your lender as your advocate. The other thing is understanding how much the business needs and why, right? It's okay to be conservative, but also it's okay to be aggressive as long as we have a good understanding of the why. We're also going to look at the cash flow analysis to make sure that we understand and that it can support your need. Because as I mentioned, we want to be your best advocate. We want to make sure that as an organization that we're supporting you, but also we're helping you make sure that financially it's the right step based upon your cash flow analysis. The other thing is that I think the number one key is experience. Make sure you're telling us about your experience. Now is the time not to hold back. Count every single experience that you have, right? Think about this as your resume. Why does this piece of ownership or this step of either a new business, existing business, how have you managed it? How have you operated it? What is your experience, right? And even if you dig back a long time ago, if you have experience from 20 years ago, bring it forward, but also bring it into the real day, right? How have you had that? Do you surround yourself with others that support you? Do you have resources? Those are very, very important things for us to be aware of. So that way we know that you have the the tools, the resources, and the knowledge to operate and finance the building or the business itself. So that could be, do you know how to manage employees? What are your plans for payroll? What's your plan for financing, bookkeeping, financial management? Those are all, as a business owner, you become the one-stop shop, right? Especially as you're growing and developing. The next big piece is one of the items that typically we ask for are financial projections. So whether it's a request of commercial real estate or even an unsecured line of credit, and specifically that entrepreneur loan that Phil was talking about, financial projections are important. And really what we're looking for is we want to understand what are the trends, do you have ebbs and flows? Typically what we like to see is year one has a month to month. So we're seeing every single month, do you have different ebbs and flows? Do you have seasonalities? And then year 2 and 3 becomes annualized, right? So this helps us to understand a little bit more of how can we recognize and support, but also understanding, are there some trends that you have and draw attention to them, but also explain those to us, right? Do you have high expenses in marketing during this time of year because you know that's when you can capture your audience and your market? And then also make sure that we understand the result. What is your goal, right? As a lender, I want to know what's your current goal, what is your short-term goal, and what's your long-term goal. Because for me, I want to be a part of that and make sure I can understand that we're setting you on that right track, that we can be a partner with you through that process, and making sure that you have the tools, the resources to get to that end goal, right? If your end goal is to open up 5 other locations, let's make sure that you're on that right track, right? Those are really some of the big keys to be loan ready. And also, it goes back to that very first slide of organization and understanding your numbers and understanding your finances. That's the most important piece. You have to understand and know your business and your cash flow and how it operates. I would say that's a big, big key piece. Phil?
Yeah, that's great. I'd say if you can't explain your numbers to your lender who you're working with, that's going to be a big red flag. So understanding those like the back of your hand, that I would add to, you should connecting the dot between what is, if you get a loan for 20,000, what's the impact on your business? So that you could also say, imagine this, to say if we came back and said we can't give you 20,000, but we could get you approved for 18, for you to be able to say, no problem. If I got 18, I could still make it work and it would impact my projections a little bit. So for you to know, here's my best case scenario. If I get, going back to what Karla said, you can be aggressive. You just have to be able to support that in the impact on your business. It's really nice when we can, if we can counter offer and say, we can't do this, but we can do this. How does that fit into your plan? And if you can speak to that, that's really positive and impressive and helps us work together to figure out what we can do. So
that's a good explanation. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. The next is consider your pillars of support. So kind of as I mentioned, that think about the steps that you're making, your lender becomes your advocate. So who else is within that circle, right? Who else can support you and help you get to those next levels of that long-term goal? And so a couple to think about are your, financial, right? Your CPAs, your accountants, your bookkeepers. They are going to be the ones that when you have a question about how does this impact this, right? Bill was just asking about talking about that 18 and 25,000, or if you're looking at making certain investments, these are the group of people that can tell you this is going to have this impact or this implication, right? Or this benefit, right? So it's you have to know, what action is going to have a reaction. The next is your banking partner. This can be your lender. This can be your teller, your financial treasury management service. It could be really anybody that's in that realm. It could be your financial advisor. This is going to be somebody that can help you and support you and talk through some of those challenges of, kind of as Phil mentioned, maybe we can't do it today, but how do we get there? Right? Having those conversations of, if you're working on repairing credit, what do we need to do to get you to that credit repair to where we do get to say yes? Next is it's so important to make sure you have access to mentors and coaches, somebody that understands kind of some of the steps and the processes that you're going through. If you're having hiring challenges, if you're having HR challenges, if you're having marketing, right? Somebody that's there and a trusted partner that you can talk to and have real life examples and say, I'm really having a tough time with this. Have you ever encountered it? How did you approach this? Right? Somebody to be that mentor is going to be such a big support. But then on the flip side, the benefit is that also look to support others, right? Maybe you know of an entrepreneur that you might be able to help that might be wanting to have somebody to support them and just talk through some situations with them. Next is legal support. At one point or another, there's probably going to be some type of support that's needed. So making sure that you have thought about that process and what that might look like. And then also making sure that you're protected. Do you need an insurance agent with what you're looking to do? Even if it's something that's a small policy, but protection is going to be key, and making sure that you have that go-to contact. So think about your pillars of support as being your go-to contacts, as you don't have to be the subject matter expert in everything, but make sure that you know who can be that contact. Bill?
Yeah, excellent. You know, if you, it gives us, we don't expect you, I should say it this way, we don't expect you as a business owner to know everything. That's impossible. There's so many facets of owning and operating a business. But what we do like to see is that you know what you don't know. You know that, hey, I'm not an accountant. I'm not going to be the greatest at doing my taxes. So I need to partner with someone that does. I'm not a banker. I need a banker. I'm not a coach. That shows us that you really have a good handle on running your business and helps us provide better products and services and support you in your business. So again, don't put the weight of having to be all those things. Focus on what you do best is running a business and surround yourself with a good team. And that's a wonderful description. And I'm sure there's probably other roles and advisors that you could have out there, but I think these are probably some of the, as we keep using the word pillar, the pillars that will help you have a good foundation for your business to be successful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions in the viewers?
So I'll kick us off with some questions here. That was fantastic, first and foremost. Very,
Yeah.
very comprehensive. My gosh, you guys covered a lot. So if I want to become a member, so what is the process? Do I have to be at OU? Do I have to be at MSU? How do I get started?
That's a great question. That's a question that we do get often. So the great news is that anybody is able to join the credit union. You don't have to be, we love our alumni, but you do not have to be. So if you reside in the state of Michigan, we also have branches in the Chicago region now too. We have over 10 branches in the Chicagoland region. So there's always a way to join, and even through immediate family members. So by you having membership, that expands that membership to your immediate family members, and then they have all the benefits of MSU credit or OU credit union. And so you're able to access all of our amazing consumer and commercial benefits, including great accounts, safe deposit boxes, mortgages. We take great pride that we do a lot of that all in house. And so that's a great question. Anybody is able to join the credit union.
Okay, so then let's say again, I want to become a member. Where are you located? Is it only near campus, or how can we find you? Do we have to come in person? How does that work?
Yeah, so we do have gosh, I think now we have 36 branch locations total.
Mhm.
So there are locations all over the state of Michigan, all the way up to Traverse City and all the way down to Chicago and everywhere in between. So you absolutely can come visit a branch location. But we do also offer fully remote options. So you can call our call center. You can go right online, right to our website. So you can go to www.oucu.org. And there is an option to apply for membership right there, as well as apply for loans. It also gives a really great guide of all of our different products and features that we have. We have a lot of other great ancillary products and benefits of being a member. And so it's not the financial institution of old. We have a lot of different benefits that our members can now take advantage of. Even including there's some benefits of discounted dealerships, right? Discounted rates at other dealerships when you are looking at financing. Um, so no, there's so much capability. I always like to say that we have that small town feel, but the capabilities and technologies of those large financial institutions.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Karla and Phil. What I will say is that for anybody watching the recording, if you have any additional questions, please send those my way. My email is acoland@oakland.edu, and we will get them to them. But thank you again both for your time. This was fantastic.
Well, thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much, Amy. And thank you everyone for joining.
Yeah, thank you.